Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. I am Len D'Amico and this is episode number 98. And tonight we have the band members of As Is, Scott McCann.
You nailed it first try.
And Franc Aledia.
Yep.
Pronounced correctly?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
Guys, thanks so much for making the time and making it a priority.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know,
Thanks
I know
so
you're
much
busy.
for having us.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's an honor to be here. We've heard a lot of great things about it,
There you
and yeah, we're happy to be here with you.
Awesome. And you know what's cool about this one is I've always heard your names, but we really don't know each other, per se. So it's going to make for a nice organic conversation, and they tend to be a really good episode. So I appreciate, just kind of working through it, having
Absolutely.
fun, and getting to learn and know each other a little more than we would maybe not know, like myself. So I'm hopeful that, the word gets spread out there and you guys get some exposure and some new fans, and you're able to discuss not only your backgrounds and your stories and inspirations, but we can learn about you guys as people and as musicians and what's inspiring you and what you're up to. So what are you guys? What is As Is? What is that?
So that's a loaded question and a half.
And a half.
Yeah, it's so it's this it's this fun little group of dudes who have known each other for roughly 25 years or more, who have all kind of tried to weave their way through through the music industry, both locally, regionally, nationally, all over the place. And we can get into more details, I guess, later, but it just in the long and the short of it, like how we ended up coming up with the name was we are what we are, is what you see. What you see is what you get, as is. And we like to think that we are that way in our personal lives, in our professional lives, in our musical lives. Pretty much any way, that you're going to see or hear or be around the band As Is or any of its members. That's kind of what you can expect. You're going to get, what you see is what you get. And that's kind of how we felt the name fit best, from both a personal and a musical reference. So
Yeah. And so is there kind of a general genre that you guys would describe?
No, that's in the name, too.
It's in the name too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, we were going through names because it's just what Smalley said. It's just, you get to the point where you're sick of all the name thing, Everybody that's listening knows what it's like.
The band name, forget it.
And then you get.
it's the worst part about being in a band, trying to come up with a name.
And then, and then somebody will ask you, like, what's the matter? Why are you so, especially your girl or whatever, or your guy.
Sure.
And they'll be like, what's the problem? Like, just trying to figure out a band name. You have to let it out, right? So now you've enlisted somebody that's going to come to you with 18, 20 names, and they are all emotionally attached to it. So now you've got to present some of these to your bandmates. You've been there, right?
Oh, sure.
So that sucks.
Sure it does.
And I think your bandmates kind of lose a little respect for you, but they've been there, so they understand. You know? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've got codes for those now. It's like,
man.
so we know to cancel that stuff out and blame it on each other for not allowing those stupid ideas to infiltrate. But same way with the music thing. People were just like nonstop trying to put tags on us. We said, we're As Is. That's it. Get a vehicle, it's just no warranty, nothing. It's just As Is. They wanted us to look a certain way. We didn't look a certain way.
Right.
This is how we looked. And the music we made was different yesterday than it was today. So you can't put anything on it. It's what it is. So when you listen to it, that's what you get. If you like it, great. If you don't, there's other bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you guys typically playing live, or are you recording? What's your kind of your media?
We aren't doing much for like 10 years.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of both now. We're really kind of starting to get everything back up and running, with a little more intensity than we did, than we have been the last couple of years or so.
Yeah, there you go. just want to get you a little closer to the mic.
Oh, I got you. Sorry.
The door.
Door.
I mean,
Hey, man.
he's not really good at reading sign signals. I mean, you're pointing at his microphone and he just starts closing the door. For those of you listening, I mean, he is that's ridiculous.
Well,
dude.
listen.
It's just ridiculous.
Scott's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Well, thank you.
He's not just thinking of himself.
No, he's not. He's thinking about that door, how it needs to be closed when you were pointing at his mic to move it forward. I know what he was thinking.
He's not going to let up, Scott.
No, I know.
He opened it. It's
You
so
got to
funny.
take the floor and go.
I've been around him too long.
do it.
Sometimes it's easier just to let him go, and eventually he'll run out of gas.
Did
But
it not happen?
Take a
Did
while.
it happen or didn't? That's all I'm saying.
What was the question?
Who knows, dude?
Yeah, so we're playing. We've started playing again. More live shows, both cover and original shows. We have an original show coming up on December, is it 21st? December 21st, I believe, at the Rambling House. Playing with another band called Late Arrival and another solo artist whose name escapes me. But
that show's on my list. Because I love that venue.
It should be.
We'll see how it rolls.
It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a nice, close and comfortable type atmosphere. Those smaller, I love those smaller gigs better than the big ones.
Eldorados.
Usually. Yeah. Anytime you can get a room cram full of people, and it's you're face to face, and it's just hot and sweaty and dirty and rock and roll. Those are the best types of shows, and I think that's what this one's going to be. So it's going to be fun.
And the people, obviously, we all know. Everybody out there's, we know who's killing it out there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It just vibes right. So I would rather do those shows all the time. Just do
Small club, intimate,
old Chelsea's stashes,
and then
CB's.
let
that
it
kind of
fill.
thing. Yeah,
Packed.
yeah.
Having fun.
I'd rather have like 6 people there that want to listen to music than 50 people that don't.
Yeah.
It looks good on socials, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look good from our standpoint.
When you create a little mini scene and get people to,
Those are the people you want to be around because they're listening to it, right?
into the groove
Yeah.
and dance and have a good time and just groove out. It's
Totally.
fun.
They're
So
there
many
because
good
they
bands.
want to be
Nothing
there.
like it. Feeling live music is just it's the bomb. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could do more of it. When you're playing all the time, that's the worst part. You don't get to see, and everybody knows this feeling. You don't get to see the bands. You don't get to see new bands.
Right.
You don't get to travel and go to see bands. You don't get to do the things that made you want to do this in the first place. But
What did want you to do this, Frank? When did you start?
My dad was a musician, and he put it in the house, right? So he could play every instrument. It's crazy. And he started me. I'm just saying he was a bad coach because he started me off to fail. I started with trumpet. I couldn't do it. He was a trombone player. And I don't know if anybody's tried to play trumpet and couldn't, but I guarantee there's a support group out there. I'm part of one. It's just playing those instruments. It's just a whole different thing. Then I went to trombone. Then I went to saxophone. Every music instrument I picked up, I failed miserably at. Finally, just quit. He finally just gave up. And then one day, a buddy of mine rode over on his bicycle and said he was starting a rock band, and he wanted me to be in it. I'm like, I don't play an instrument. He goes, I don't either. So we started a rock band. And then I fell in love with playing bass. And I saw Kiss, and I was like, I want to be like those dudes.
Right on. Yeah.
So I played, and couldn't believe it. After the 5 instruments I tried to play, my dad trying to get me playing music. It was a stringed instrument that I needed to be playing, not a wind or brass. It was still music, just wrong direction.
That's so cool.
It was really cool. I just threw everything into it because then all of a sudden that love that he had for music, I got genetically, came flowing through. Right.
But then you discovered who it was inside of you.
You couldn't even keep up
the
with it.
string, and you were gone.
You
were sucked into the abyss.
Too immature to understand was going on with you.
Yeah.
You were so in love with something that you never knew you could love,
Right.
let alone that to that extent.
Right.
And I was obsessed. I couldn't go to school. When I was in school, I thought about music. When I was there was a time where you had final and you had all this amazing stuff. So you fantasized about these people. You didn't have social media telling you exactly what their favorite color was or anything like that. You created it in your own mind. So you became inspired, but you also became creative.
One
You
with the
became
creativity
creative. Yeah.
and the energy.
For the first time, you became creative. And if you were creative, that's how you became creative, by looking at album covers, by looking at photos and making them talk. Because you didn't have interviews on YouTube to listen to. You got lucky if you could hear a radio show, King Biscuit Flower Hour.
Oh yeah.
To
As a
hear them
kid,
live.
trying to dial in
Yeah.
an FM station. Yeah,
Just-
that was great.
It's
I can
amazing.
reach the outside. There's good
But
music
the
out there.
romance, what it took to consume media for that, breeded a certain loyalty to that, and now you're getting it again, with the love of vinyl and the actual investment of time. You're slowing down, you're enjoying everything. There's more than just a compressed audio
And it's
file.
tangible.
It's very tangible.
I love vinyl.
That's always going to be key, right? VR is not going to get that. AI is not going to get that tangible, touchable, touchy-feely stuff. That's humans.
Right.
We're good. Anyway, I'm off.
Things
Sorry.
No, you're not. No, but that's interesting that you shared that, and it's really, I think, something that a lot of people that are into music or producing music can absolutely relate to.
I hope so. Or
'Cause
I'm really screwed.
that falling in love with that vehicle
Yeah.
to express yourself that way that you don't understand when you're that young.
No, you're not mature
is
enough.
Magic.
Yeah, I mean, they prep you for, like, you're going to fall in love with the princess, or you're going to fall in love with this. They almost breed it, right? It's like the whole time you're growing up, they're getting you ready for prom dresses and stuff like that, with princess stuff and all that other nonsense. That's why I want to get into that game, right? $1,000 for a prom dress. I mean, another $2 for wedding, 10 for a wedding dress. They start that early, but they don't start the love of consumption of music,
Right.
ever. You're unaware that it's even a possibility. So when it comes, you don't even know what title put. You don't even know what to label it as, and that's special, dude. It is
So what
special.
did you label it?
I labeled it happy.
Awesome.
Like
And how old were you? Give or
10.
take. 10. Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yeah, because I hated school so much. I failed first grade, bro.
Yeah.
I hated it. There was one thing I knew I wanted to be from the minute I left the womb, and that was absent.
Get me out of here.
I didn't want to be there. I didn't like the process of waking up. I hated it.
Yeah.
But, there's another story where a bus driver, I never had any teachers or anybody else that ever meant anything to me except for a bus driver. And that's a whole movie. How inspirational. Just think Morgan Freeman as a bus driver and you having an hour to get to where you're going.
And you
with
had
just
that
him.
as a kid?
Yeah, kind of knocked me out of the whole funk thing, man. I would have been a dropout at fourth grade,
Yeah. And are you from Columbus?
basically.
Yeah. Okay. And so, where'd that take you from there, man? Frank,
To music. I mean, it was my somebody, like, if you have these people that just get you away from nonsense.
I've had people.
Yeah, and
I've got
I had a
stories,
great,
too.
I had a great childhood, right?
They appear
We all
from
do.
nowhere, and you almost wonder if it's like a
Smalls.
spiritual encounter or something.
Yeah. But
What's
the thing
happening?
is, you can't explain it. So
No.
people when you explain it to people that have never felt it, they want to compartmentalize that stuff. They need to make sense in there. They want to put it in their index box. They're the ones who want to label it and put it in their little labeling system or their filing system, right? Intellectually and mentally. There's nothing there, right? So every time somebody try to explain what you are, you recoil. Like, no, you don't get it. It isn't until you hang out with other musicians that all those things make sense to them, and it doesn't seem to make sense to anyone else.
Right.
And that's why you don't feel like you want to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But those are things you need to talk about, and kids need to talk about and understand too, because they're so busy, like we all were. Just, I want to learn this song. It was, God, why do we have to start off with Rush? You know what I mean? Could we have, please? Why did you start off with that? You know what I mean? I'm sitting here. Most people are doing Smoke on the Water, and I'm trying to learn side what of hemispheres. This wasn't. It was cruel, but it was also awesome. It was wonderful. But different strokes. I listen to all my friends talk about stuff. Their stories are insane. Who else that? What other industry has that where you talk to each individual person about their individual story, and you could listen to it for 40 hours straight? After you got done playing a gig and you're sitting on the tail of a rider truck and just got done loading in.
Right.
It's breakfast. It's almost time to go to TJ's and the light's coming up.
Heck yeah.
Those stories for that last 3 hours where you're smoking all the cigarettes you smoke and do whatever the hell else you have left. Those stories are priceless, man.
Yeah. And the experience itself, right? The stories are one, but living it is another.
Yeah, but it didn't take looking back at it to understand that. When you were in the moment, you realized it then. Yep. It didn't take, remember the good old days, being in the barbershop or being on your deathbed, looking back at, you were living it and you were remembering it and realizing how wonderful it was while you were doing it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, why would you ever think of quitting that at any capacity? Play.
I'm an old man, and I still am getting out there.
No such thing as old, bro. The good Edward Cullen, man. What was he, like 360-something years old? He was him and Chris. I mean, come on.
Wrong choice of words.
Yeah, man. He was like what? He was. I mean, shit.
So Frank, you it's obviously boom. You're in. You're sucked into the. It's labeled happy. You're going into music. Kind of take us through some markers, on bringing you to now through all that inspiration. That's in your case. That's probably going to be a long podcast episode. But what comes to mind as things that you'd like to.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to go through this really quickly. I'm going to frame this up as quickly as I can because I think it really will highlight just how much and why I hate him.
Oh, wait, you're pointing at Scott, your drummer.
Wait till you hear his story.
Oh, we're going to get to that, Frank.
I know.
But
let me frame this up real quick. So there's some
That's
context.
What I'm trying to get into.
I know where he's going with
this. I know.
Well,
so there's some context, okay? So, yeah. So I decided that there's almost like I decided long ago. I break into song. Everything's a musical these days. Just say what you need to say. Anyway, so I'm like, all right. I'm gonna go through this whole thing. I'm totally in love with music. I need to start performing, and I have no damn idea, right? I know I have a microphone now because my buddy Chucky Allison is his name, and
shout out to Chucky.
Shout out to Chucky, mayor of Florida or something like that.
I don't know who Chucky is.
Chucky Allison. Anyway,
Chucky Allison's a cool name, so shout out to Chucky Allison.
So he rides over on his bicycle. I told you that earlier, right? So he gets me into. We're gonna start a band. So what I neglected to tell you was that. Him and I rode bicycles up to the local Radio Shack in Worthington, right? And we bought a highball microphone.
Oh, man.
So I thought Chucky stole that thing and didn't tell me till 10 years later. So I am in possession of stolen merchandise, and I'm praying to God nobody ever finds out. I don't want to go to prison over a highball 2 Radio Shack microphone.
It's recorded now, so careful now.
Well, I'll give it back. I still have it. I think I recorded with.
Sorry, man.
I
didn't say that.
The highball too. Everybody, somebody's laughing. Somebody is laughing right now.
Was that the second edition of Mr. Microphone or something?
No. It was a legit microphone, dude. It was actually like almost, look at it was close to a Shure SM58.
Sure.
That's what they said. I mean, aesthetically, it definitely was, but I don't think the patterns would support that. I don't know, man. Somebody's out there. Joe Veers is out there. He might be listening to this. He can.
Joe's probably mixing, working.
Well, he'll listen to it later, and then he can just home in the comments.
I'm sure my boy Chucky Allison's out there listening, though. So
Chucky Allison's definitely doing that. Anyway, so we go into this thing. Yeah. So real quick from that, it's simple. So I go into this whole thing. The band doesn't work out for obvious reasons. Nobody could play. I decided I was going to play bass. I got a crappy bass. My dad was ecstatic because all he wanted me to do was be a musician. So we're going back to that, right? And then boom, he finds out I'm bass. I'm going to do a bass. We go down to Coil Music. Bam, Rockstar in Clintonville. Everybody knows that bus stop. You know what I mean? So bam, we go through there, get everything. I beat this dude that is teaching lessons for bass at this place called Chuck Daly's down in Graceland. So I go take lessons from him. There ended up being 3 guys that were taking guitar lessons from the guitar teacher there, and they decided they were going to put together probably the first ever School of Rock. So the guitar teacher got the bass teacher and the drum teacher to get students together to form a band and hash out certain songs, rock songs. So that was really, really cool.
That is cool.
One of the guys that was in the guitar class was Grant Gilkey. The Grant Gilkey. You can
I
say
saw
that.
Grant this past weekend.
Yeah. So we started the band.
Yep.
And then bam, Ken Kaplan got involved, and we ended up being Fusion, and that whole thing through high school. And we wrote a song and ended up being on the QFM 96 hometown album. We were seniors in high school. Daddy Wags thought it was really cool to play it while we were going to school, so all the people at high school heard it.
What a
and
dude,
thought
man.
Totally,
What a dude.
Dude, the guy is
Oh
the
my-
ultimate God bless daddy.
Do you know Daddy Wags?
Yes. Oh my God. Basically grew up
I
with
want
him.
to do a podcast episode with Daddy Wags.
Well-
that would be awesome. I don't know if we could do it.
Yeah. But, he's wonderful.
Awesome.
I got to see him while we were in like Mid Ohio last year, and I didn't get to him because Mid Ohio is crazy.
Sure.
But what a great dude. I mean, he was just the best, But so it was all good, We ended up doing our thing, and then crazy '80s starts, and we go on that whole crazy thing, And everybody knows the backstory of that. It was wonderful. Everything was great. And,
Yep.
everybody, musicians and things were going great. Rosie was great then. And Spit and Image was huge then.
Sure.
All these things, it was great. And then I decided I was going to start writing music. Started fast tracking, got a record deal with Virgin. Thought everything was going to change. Then just boom. Decided to get the hell out of music.
And what year did you decide you were going to get out of music?
I don't know. I can't remember. But I was out for 10 years. It's gone.
Okay.
Then I went to work one day, completely no bands, nothing. There's Naners. I'm working at a job with Shannon Smith, and that's how we met. And boom, he had a Kiss Army thing on his wall in his office. I was like, do you like Kiss? And he's like, I like Kiss. Do you like Kiss? I'm like, I like Kiss. And he's like, we should do lunch together.
They were the original Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. So, and then that weekend we ended up doing this crazy, we worked for a medical.
And Shannon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Medical supply company. We don't even know each other. We had to go to Athens County Fair or whatever it's called in,
Athens.
it's Athens County, dude. I don't know. It was Lima, whatever that is. Is that Athens County?
No. No, it's Lima County.
It's Lima County. So
See how the names are starting to match
I don't,
up?
I'm pretty sure it starts with an A.
Dude, I don't think it's Athens County south of here, and Lima is the kind of northwest.
Allen.
Yeah.
Allen County.
There you go.
It started with an A. I know.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going there, and this kid is such an idiot. We're leaving Gahanna, and he's like, okay, it says take 33. So he goes to 33 Bexley. We dead end into Bexley. He's like, this is not Lima.
Oh my God.
It was the other 33 on the west side.
No shit.
Yeah. So obviously we're best friends from there. I mean, you can't help but not like
You're
the
pointing
dude.
at Scott?
No,
This
me
was
and
Shannon.
me and
Oh, you
Shannon.
and Shannon.
Yeah. And so we ended up doing a bunch of stuff, just crazy stuff. And then, I fell in love with Nirvana and got into this stuff. And then I fell in love, head over heels in love with Oasis when they first came out. And my writing style completely changed. And I just stopped
When
doing
you were influenced by Oasis?
it. I was influenced by Nirvana and Oasis, yeah.
Nice.
Like hardcore. Like just changed my mind. I was doing nonsense pop 80s stuff, like Richard Marx kind of crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was on a dark road. Those are the dark days. And then boom, next thing you know, I was in a band called Zito's. We were like doing CD 101 stuff and all kinds of stuff. Just doing all original stuff, playing Chelsea's and Stashes, and then showcasing in New York because the producer at the time was a guy at Radioactive who had live, so it was like really cool. And then it just broke up. Craziest thing, it was like after all that stuff, we were just so wounded. Like, I'm so tired of this business, man. I'm done. And I talked to Shannon. Shannon's like, let's just not, let's put this together. Our bass player, drummer at the time, quit. Like, let's just put together a band and have fun.
That you want to
go
have
back
fun
to
with.
having fun instead of worrying about what's showcase ready and worrying about every note. Let's just go back to having fun. Funny thing is, a friend of mine we were out day drinking, and he told me about Smalls. And he's like, I got a drummer. I'm like, okay. So I remembered that, and I called him. I go, do you have that dude's number you were talking about? And he's like, yeah. I called him up immediately. I'm like, dude, you want to get together today? Sure enough, he did. That day. Same day the other guys quit. Shannon talks to another guy who was a different bass player at the time. He came over. We came over at the same time. Him and I hooked up like instantly. We're like instant friends. It's crazy.
It was with like in a total man friendship way. It was like love at first sight. It was like as soon as I saw him, I was like, that dude's cool.
Yeah, we're like both wired the same way. Like he loves sports wise, like our families, everything just wired completely the same, right? And then he's setting up his drums, and we love this memory. It's core memory, man. It's like he just starts pounding away, and one of the big problems with the other drummer was that he just wouldn't hit. You remember you were talking about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wouldn't hit, and I was playing bass at the time. I'm like driving me crazy. Got to a point where when we went to New York to record, they actually left the room and didn't tell us. Like we're looking out through the control room window, and we don't see anybody. We go out there and I'm like, are we fired? Like, you want us out of here? It's like, oh, we're just going to get the drummer some sticks that he can hit with. So it was always a problem. Like, I never knew drummers didn't hit.
Oh, the drummer and Zito's.
Yeah. So this guy, if you've ever seen him, he hits like a maniac.
I saw you guys this summer.
Yeah, okay.
There were some big drummers in those shows.
Yeah.
Like lineup, you had Pickens and you had and this guy, right?
Yeah,
That's what
he's
you're
a
talking
monster.
about. Yeah.
So I'm like, this guy, where the hell has he been?
Yeah.
This guy is amazing. And then we get to that story.
Okay. And you're gonna let him take us through it, or
Yeah.
you wanna? We want to hear Scott's perspective now from this point.
Don't worry, I'll jump in if there's something inaccurate about this. I'll steer you along. I'll be your guide.
Okay.
I want to hear this because
Yeah,
it changes when he says it.
Yeah, but for those that are listening, Scott he has a look on his face like maybe he's being set up.
Yeah, well, he always has that look on his face.
Well,
Between Shorty and I, he's never safe.
yeah, none of us are ever safe, and with all four of us in the same room
no,
together.
I
But
can't imagine.
You ever seen Entourage?
I have.
Yep.
Brutal.
Yep.
What? That's Scott?
That's us.
Oh,
yeah.
the band.
Yeah, we're four idiots.
Okay. So Scott, what happened from there, man?
Yeah, so it's not a setup in terms of something happened. He loves to tell the story because everything he just said was his own personal journey. He went through everything, which is I almost wish I had his story, but it's like we have two opposite stories, but they're kind of the same because he went through this whole journey of he almost had a whole career before he even started his career.
Right.
Because he started kind of earlier than a lot of kids and rock bands do. So he got a head start, on everybody. And he has this long, beautiful journey, and then to where he said it got to the point where everything was falling apart, but they knew they had something good there, something special there. They just needed the right pieces. And I was basically the complete opposite of that. So I grew up very similar to him, though, like he said, as far as like in the household, music was in the house. Like that's all we did. Like just my core childhood memories are listening to music with my parents. You know, the records and the tapes and the sitting at dinner around the dinner table, and you know, it's like every event there was music on in the background. And that's just how I grew up. I don't know anything different, and I'm a drummer, so I started playing drums in band. I mean, that's how I learned. So, and came all the way up through middle school, high school marching band. I was the band geek in high school, and you know, whatever. And
What were you playing then?
so I was a snare drummer. Yeah.
Triangle.
So, yeah, right. No, we
Shout
had
out
other
to
people
Cradle.
doing that. Yeah, right. So I played snare, and you know, I had a similar. You know, I had a big brother. So if anybody, you know, is a little brother and has a big brother, they know what that big brother means to them. It's their big brother's your hero. You know, so the guy you look up to, you follow, you want to be like, you want to do everything like him, whatever. And that was, you know, the height of the 80s and the hair metal bands and all that kind of stuff. And so I grew up listening to that stuff, watching that stuff, me and my brother, you know, dreaming of being rock stars and with the tennis rackets and the whole thing, you know, and just not really thinking, kind of like what Frank was alluding to earlier, not really thinking it's a possibility or it's something that you could accomplish or achieve, but maybe just in the back of your mind, you're like, man, that'd be cool if I could do that one day, whatever. And so, and I was the same way in school, didn't really love school, wasn't, you know, a great student. I was kind of middle of the road, whatever, but all I could think about was playing drums. That's all I wanted to do. And then I met a buddy of mine years later, who played acoustic. He was had like a little 2-man acoustic thing around town. And that's what he did for a living. And when I met him, I was like, wait, this is your job? Like you can pay your bills doing this? And he was like, yeah, this is what I do. You know? And I was like, and that was the first time I thought, oh, you actually could make a living doing this. And so I was like, I really need to be in a band. I want to find a band, you know? And I met with a couple dudes here and there or whatever, just kind of random stuff.
You're trying to figure out, like, how does this work?
Exactly. And I had zero experience, had never been in any band at any level before. So I'm just like, I go over to this dude's house, we play. I'm like, that ain't it. You know, you just know.
Right.
And I was like, I swear the next person that calls me, I don't care if they're horrible, whatever it is, if it's a band, an artist, or whoever wants to start a band, I'm doing it. And if it's terrible, I'll start there and then find something else and work my way up. The very next call I got was this guy. And it was
Frank.
Absolutely. And it was
He actually called you?
Well, it was actually, I don't know. I don't think we did. I think we did speak on the phone before we actually met, but we met through a mutual friend. So he worked with a buddy of ours.
So that cancels that out.
Yeah. So for keeping score,
I don't understand.
to carry the two.
That's fun.
And yeah, so we had this mutual buddy, and he's who recommended me to Frank to me, and I think we did talk on the phone before we actually met, and so we're like, yeah, let's get together, blah blah blah, whatever. I didn't know him, he didn't know me from Adam. I didn't even know what he looked like, and this was well before social media. So we're both going to this whole thing blind and cold and everything else, and like he said, we get in there, and it was like as soon as I saw him, as soon as we met, it was just, he was like me, it was just, you could tell we were like each other, and we still hadn't played a note together yet. It was just like, we were just cool talking with each other, it was like, yeah, I love this guy, and then, and like you said, I get set up, I'm warming up, and I start playing, and he hears something I do, and he runs back in the room, and he's like, what was that? I'm like, I don't know. I was just, whatever. He's like, all right, hold on, I'll be right back. He comes back, and we debate over what the first song was we played or what we did first or whatever. I think it's one thing, he thinks it's the other, but we knew instantly as soon as we started playing together, it wasn't that it sounded good, it felt good. Like you could feel it. It wasn't a sound, it was a feeling.
You had a deeper connection than just being a bandmate, right? You guys were friends, and you're still friends.
Instantly, though, it's kind of weird. Sorry, I usually he just says, I was never in a band before, but hey, that's nice to know all that.
So that was okay. So thanks for bringing that back around, because that's where the whole the whole setup thing
I
came
mean,
from. Is his setup is
I have a spiny sense.
he
okay?
thinks he had to go through hell and back to get to me, and I just walked in,
No,
just
I didn't
unknowingly, and this is my first band
I
ever,
saved
which
him.
is true. They're both
I
true.
saved him from the mediocrity kingdom.
They're both of those things are true,
No,
but it is kind of
I-
funny that ended up being my first band ever. Was I get this guy as my lead singer? Could
I'm
you
just
imagine?
saying I was jealous.
on,
I was
man.
jealous. Dude, everything. My firsts were like playing at the basement of a Catholic school for Pasco, for
Got
the
it.
Filipino American thing. His first was playing in Newport Music Hall.
Yeah.
You know what I
not
mean?
my
I
first
like,
gig.
I know, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was. We weren't allowed to play certain places. There were too many good bands from Cincinnati, and nobody was playing. And so we just created our own scene. We didn't wait for those things though, but we played right down the street.
How'd you do that?
We just busted into a very small place and started saying,
Setting up.
"Yep," basically said, "We'll play for free. Let us play here."
We kind of followed my mentality of joining a band with the gig mentality. It was like, it doesn't matter. Whoever will let us play first, we're going to go there.
And
we're
then
gonna
that
start playing
bar
there.
saw what they rang, and they had us, and they gave us money, and then so we just did it.
So was it a weekly gig for you guys out of the gate, or how'd you manage that relationship?
We were lucky to get one gig every month. Mm-hmm. Because we were new. We're so new, and no, I'd never been in the cover music scene. I was always on the original side.
And that's what you guys were handling.
I didn't know anything about that side.
Wow. that's
Not
cool.
since high school when I was in Fusion. We played all those, but they weren't. There wasn't a differentiator. It was a rock club like Alrosa or Screamin' Willies. You had cover bands there. That was it. Those are the only bands you had there. You had some national stuff, but that was it. There was no differentiator. There wasn't an original bar and a cover bar. Now I don't even know what the hell is the difference. You know what I mean? It's just a bar with TVs. It's a sports bar with a stage. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yep.
How many years ago did you guys get together? Was that you mentioned earlier? I just
Well,
don't
it's
recall.
funny because you said this is episode 98. I wish it was episode 99.
Yeah.
That's when we met.
Listen, man, everybody wants episode 9.
That's when we met. That's when we started as is. Was in '99. So that it would have
August of '99. Like literally, everybody was booked up. It was crazy. It was the dumbest time to get together. But like I said, we didn't have a choice.
Nice.
But yeah, so '99 is when we met and first hit it off and just said, "What are we doing? We don't know. Let's do it though."
But we had a whole album's worth of stuff with Zito's. We actually were called Zito's, which was the original band I was in before. We kept the name until we figured out something else. But we came out of the blocks with original stuff so we could do other shows. But we were a cover band, so yeah, there was no going to Chelsea's and stashes and things like that, and saying, "Hey, mind?" Didn't have any of that.
Right on.
You know what I mean? Which was cool. But at the same time, it was we didn't know where we were going to go. And
You just kind of took faith in going out there and figuring it out.
dude, I don't know what it was. We just wanted to have fun, and we were just a cover band. We just all of a sudden had people coming out like crazy. It was insane.
That's good.
And then we had originals. We started writing. We had original songs. We started pushing those original songs in, but the original songs that we were writing were just like the covers we were playing. That helps. Never understood why bands do that. They cultivate an audience with cover songs, and they can't convert it because it's nothing like the original music they're playing. So we did exactly what you should do, and that's get as many people as you can, make as much money so you can take that money and go to New York like we did and work with great producers like we did.
So can we talk a little bit about your journey to New York? Is there only one journey to New York, or is
No.
there several times
Several.
you guys have
Multiple.
been over there?
Yeah.
Different.
We were
different contacts.
our studio that recorded our music and our rehearsal room and our producer, they were all in New York at the time.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It was
And that
but
was-
it was it was tough because we were all working full-time jobs. And we were occupying really good, well-paying full-time jobs for our age.
Yeah.
So we couldn't we couldn't just leave whenever we had to. We had to really kill it on weekends, and only time we could, sometimes we'd go to Dayton or we'd go to Springfield, we'd play on Thursday, but most of the times we'd play Thursdays or weekdays in Columbus, right? But it got to the point where they wanted us in New York all the time, and we just couldn't do it.
We probably made 4 or 5 trips to New York in a 2 to 3 year span, or was it
at least?
Was it more than that? Yeah, I mean, because we recorded there, like you said, we rehearsed there, we played there, we had multiple trips recording. So yeah, we were back and forth New York all the time when we were. It was like we were doing everything at once, all at the same time, but it all worked. Like the cover thing was back in those days. The cover thing was blown up around here. I mean, it was just huge, and we were just killing it everywhere we went. And then we were also doing the original side of things, and so that was going really well for us. That was going very fast for us, and we were incorporating that. Like Frankie said, incorporating that into our original show, so people were hip to that too. And so we were really had the best of both worlds, at that time, and it was just. We were like, everything was working, so we were doing everything. There were no limitations. We would do original shows, we'd do cover shows, we'd go out of town, we'd stay in town, whatever it was, we were recording, everything we were doing was just anything we could do, and we would do it all. So
yeah, and we had a producer too that worked at a record label that in A&R. When they just got done doing live Secret Samadhi album, and he was literally coaching us. You got to get your SoundScan numbers up. You got to get a commercial ad. You got to do all this stuff. All the things that they were, on their checklist. So in addition to everything that we were doing we were behind like nonstop. Every time we'd get to like noon, instead of eating, we would do a action item. Make phone calls, do this, and go back to work for 4 hours, and then go to practice and start the whole process over again. Wow. So it was like we were totally all so invested, and that's what it takes, And before you knew it, we sold out. We did a CD release thing. We finally got our CD. We're going to do a release thing, and Shorty was like, we got to do it at the Newport. I'm like, do it at the Newport? You're crazy.
High Street, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you're crazy.
Columbus music.
Absolutely.
Yeah. At the time, right? Like, what year-ish?
It was the Newport?
No, it was that show.
It was it 01?
01, I believe.
2001?
Yeah. Or was it 2000?
It was 2000.
It was either 2000. It was 2000, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2000. This is incredible. So.
Yeah, we had been a band for, a year and a half, I think, at that point.
And you're ready to cut a CD release party.
At the Newport.
Recorded a 4-song EP and did a CD release party at the
Which
Newport.
was stupid. I thought that was the dumbest thing we could ever do.
That's
I thought we were going to get 40. But I thought we were going to get 40 people. This is the whole thing. We were literally just dumbfounded. We did this radio show on the Blitz right before, just to do it. It was local stuff. It was no big deal. Everything was great. And we're talking on there, and the host was like, okay, we're going to open up the phones now. The 10th caller is going to get a pair of as-is tickets. And we're like
waiting for the crickets
to make
to
it
start
like
chirping.
First caller?
Yeah. How about
this is going to get
three?
real awkward. Like it was like when I was a kid and all of a sudden, you were doing shirts and skins. Right. I'm like, please, God, please let me be shirts.
Oh my God. Well, I'm not going to even go there. That's cool.
Yeah. So it was like insane. So, the phones lit up like crazy.
Yeah,
and we're all looking around.
You guys are in the studio. You're watching this happen like real time.
Nobody was
freaking
more
out.
Yeah, so we thought we were going to
surprised than
die, like right there live on the radio, and the buttons just all go red all the way across, and we're like, what?
I love it, dude. That's so
And then,
cool.
honestly, dude, that's how I felt when we were talking about doing the Newport show. So obviously, Newport would be the great place to do it. But guess what? We're going to be about 1,750 people short of it looking good in here.
Or just
that's what I thought.
There's no way we could do that.
So the night before, I'm playing Sega. Buddy of mine calls and goes like, "Hey man, I just tried to get tickets for your show, and it's like, I can't get any tickets."
Little roller.
Yeah. Can you hook me up? It's like, just go online and get them yourself, you mooch. You know what I mean? I'm like still playing. I'm just like completely out of it. He's like, "No, dude, they're sold out." So I checked the thing. Sure enough, you can't get tickets. I'm like, maybe they just shut it down before the day before the show. Shorty, our bass player, goes driving to the Newport to get there early, and there's a line straight down High Street.
To see you guys.
Yeah, they had to delay opening the doors because they didn't have enough security, so they'd pull people off the crew game to bring them to the stadium to open up the doors. They opened up an hour late.
Damn.
Yeah, it was nuts. Sold out. And then
Right. We had no idea because we were just
we had no idea.
being a band, doing whatever we wanted to do, and we were like, yeah, this will be a cool show. It'll be fun, whatever. We can say we played at the Newport for CD release. The place was sold out.
We were literally sectioning off places on the floor for our parents to sit.
Oh my gosh, you guys are sweethearts.
They sat all the way up. That they pushed that. That's gone. That was way gone.
They ended up in the balcony.
We put up little sweet tents and everything. Like we thought there was going to be
Crushed.
50 people.
Crushed
it's gone.
with the vomit
No,
in
I
the
think I saw
corner.
it. I think I saw it in the vomit corner. Yeah. I mean, but I didn't care, dude.
Dude, what a...
The focus had shifted.
Yeah?
I was no longer scared.
Yeah.
We're still like,
How exciting is that?
don't know. I can't remember.
Right.
I will
Freaking
say,
awesome.
I agree. I was the same way. It's like I remember everything about that show, and I remember nothing about that show. Like I remember the experience and the event, and that it happened, but minuscule details of I couldn't tell you because it was
just off the
I
hook.
almost blacked out why we played. I mean, it was it was just that crazy.
Cool.
I don't. Have you ever been to the Newport
I have.
backstage?
I've seen-
Okay, so you've been backstage.
I have not been backstage.
Okay,
I've only been a patron watching a show.
So backstage is up the stairs, but not stairs. Spiral staircase. Right stage left. Right.
Stage right.
Whatever. Yeah.
Nope. Stage left. You're right. Stage left. He's right.
I always hate that. Exit stage left. Right. And then I look at the Rush album, and it's always
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I think of it.
Because it's backwards.
Good point.
I don't know. I'd never get it. So, spiral staircase up into the ceiling.
Yep.
It's super dark and it's super old. And then you get
And
upstairs.
super small.
And then you get upstairs, and that's where it is, right? So, nothing special. Just
It's so LA club. I mean, it's
so
so like
shithole.
whiskey and
Sorry.
it's so that.
yeah, wonderful.
Nostalgic.
Yeah, memories
100%.
apparently.
Utilized.
Rock memories apparently smell like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy collectively. So it's a lot of memories up there then.
You're not going to get into that?
No. So all I hear is as
Fair enough, Mr.
Good answer.
Frank.
as we're walking down the spiral, right? Them chanting as is, and it's almost like a Lady Gaga
Dude.
thing where it just fades out. I don't remember being on stage. I don't remember anything
Oh
after that.
my God.
I have it on video, and nobody would believe me. Seriously, we have it on video. It's crazy.
Do you share the video with the public? Is it on YouTube somewhere?
I mean, it was 20 years ago, so that'd be
So
kind of.
what? But it's kind of a cool event.
We
It's
do
up to
have
you.
clips.
Listen.
We have clips on. We've used that for some promo material, I believe.
Yeah, I think
recently.
Yeah, we use it. It's on
I'm going to
TikTok.
watch it tonight when we're
Yeah, it's
done.
on TikTok.
just because I want to see it.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think we do.
Try to Google it and then see what we
I don't
come
think
up.
we have the whole show up, do we?
Well, clips will be enough.
I
for
think
me.
we have. I definitely
Okay?
think we have.
All you need to do
clips.
is see the
Like,
intro.
I just want to see it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
put it on
Oh,
some
yeah.
good stereo and go.
Yeah, it's cool. It's the problem is 2000.
That's okay.
Like the audio is terrible, but
the
it's so cool.
experience you described though, it's like
I think you can hear
life-changing
it.
for you, was it not?
Yeah, I think it's like something to show your great grandkids and say, "See, Grandpa was showing."
He's a rocker.
Yeah.
How did the Newport experience compare? Well, before we go there though, when you were in New York, did you hit any of those clubs when you guys were out there, like, and do some live performances?
CB's.
Where'd you play?
We did,
CB's?
We did play CBGB.
CBGB. Really? That gosh, man.
It's a shame it's
What
not
neighborhood
there.
is that in, or was it in?
Alphabet City.
Yeah.
So Bleecker. So
Yeah.
Bowery District,
I love New York, man.
Midtown.
I spent a lot of time in New York
Uptown.
with business, though.
West Side.
I hit these places
Brooklyn.
as a patron, not as a musician. So
Yeah.
I'm fascinated. how's the Newport backroom compare to CBGB backroom? just curious. Like,
Well, there really isn't
most of us
one.
aren't going to know what CBGB is like. No one's going to know. But what was it like for you guys to be there in that club, working on your craft? Anything happening there for you?
Oh yeah, for me it was life changing. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, again, another one of those, and I hate to keep using this analogy, but it's the best thing I can come up with is like blackout moment. I remember it. I do. I remember it well.
I can't even imagine.
But it's just so, you're just so in awe of where you are and what you're doing. That takes over the experience. You become a patron. You become a tourist. You become a whatever. Even though you're the band that's there and you're playing and you do and you play and it's great and it's everything, you're still just looking around like, are you kidding me? This place? I'm here right now? Like, it's almost too much to take in for a gig. You know, it's almost like you have to go spend a whole day there, then play a show there, then come back, you know, and watch a show there, and then start playing shows there. Like, it's that heavy of an experience.
Wow.
I mean, it's just the aesthetics. It's everything you've ever seen on TV and in the movies, and it's but better. It's better. I mean, it's accurate. Like the movies do a good job of, you know, but it's just, you can't believe you're there. You know?
Yeah, and where places in history for us is, it's unfortunate, kind of, you know, because the circumstances were really high risk, which was at that time, you know, something that wasn't lost on us, which is great now because you look back at the memory and you think of it. Also, you know, we had a lot of people coming with us. Like we decided we're going to like make it a package for some of our fans, and we had like 10 people. We had a bunch of people who want to do it. We had to pick 10, and they went with us. And it was crazy because as you're walking through Central Park or doing all these things, you're trying to be with all these people, and it's stressful, you know, because it's Manhattan, not a place to be a tour guide unless, you know, you want to be. But I didn't really want to be. I was kind of thinking about playing CBs, and but it was so much fun. It was awesome, but it's just the memories. Like, it's so unique in Columbus. There's very little people, like very little venues or very little cities that can actually say they have a venue where the walls would share the same memories with something that's iconic nationally as CBGB. And by far, the Agora / Newport / whatever they want to call it now, which I don't think they're going to call it anything different, but Newport, right? Those walls have seen the same things, same rock stars, same people,
bands, absolutely.
you
Everybody
know,
can.
and that's
interesting,
that you don't get that in certain cities, and that shouldn't ever be lost on, you know, the community here. Like, if you're truly a rock lover, consumer, you know, and you have to be into the history, you know, or why are you doing it?
Right.
This city has such a rich history.
Oh,
It's incredible how amazing the city is, and the only people that will actually curate that, you know, and do it justice are down to German Village Music House and talk to Bill Foley, or talk to Chatfield, or talk to anybody that's been around back when this started, you know, and remember Sam Ash and what it took to take your instrument down there and get a little bit of Christmas money. You know what I mean?
awesome.
Or not Sam Ash, but Uncle Sam's.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Everybody knows that feeling. But those types of things, those voices, they ring loud when it comes to how wonderful the music scene is in Columbus, Ohio, and the history and how rich it is, you know? You don't get that in most cities. So lucky, like, I got a great CB story. I got to share this one. So Hilly, anybody knows CB's? Hilly's the guy, he owns it, right?
CBGB in New York City?
Yeah. So I'm standing there, and it's obvious. Totally, you know, I lived in New York. I know that you should never have tourist face. You never look up. You never do all these things, right? You'll end up being a tourist. When I went in there and I stood on that stage, I was a tourist. I was smiling ear to ear like a kid at Disney World, right? And apparently Hilly saw it. So he comes up to me and he goes, "You know where you're standing right there?" Like this monotone, creepy voice. He goes, "Jim Morrison stood right there and sang."
Stop it.
So I took a mental note of it. So at the end of the night, when we got done with our set, I dropped down on my knees and kissed right where he was.
Bless your heart.
Like,
And the
as
coolest
we
thing,
should,
yeah,
right?
And
the coolest thing is someone got a picture
yeah,
of him
doing it.
doing it.
And Superfan did. Janie did.
There's a pic. It's
Yeah, it's
you gotta
crazy.
see this shot. It's beautiful.
I'm all happy, right? I'm pumped up. I got
Happy.
done with it. Happy. You know, like super happy. Just gone. Hilly walks up to me and he goes, "Should have told you. That's not the only thing you did right there. You might want to get the doctor to look at your face."
No way.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, wiped out my whole night, dude. I was like this whole time, like, "Hey, you want to take me to urgent care for a little?" What's going on with this lip?
You're feeling a tingling feeling that's not typical.
Yeah, he planted one on me. That
Oh,
was
geez.
amazing. That was really cool, though.
That's cool.
You know, I think that's those experiences that you
It's
have
just
with this
surreal.
band was incredible. And when you look at the history, it was a very short time, very short amount of time. Mm-hmm. You know, but the memories are insane. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They're almost better because, at least for me, because we have those memories from that long ago, and here we are again, same 4 members, same 4 group of dudes, you know, and we still love each other the same. We still want to do the same things together, and we are, you know, but we have all of that, and even though we like everybody kind of went and did their own thing at some point, it was just like part of the journey. It wasn't the whole thing. It wasn't the beginning, the middle, or the end. It was just part of it, you know. And I don't even know where we're at now. We're not at the end now either. This is the other part of it, you know. And it's like,
That's a beautiful place to be, though.
it is.
Yeah,
Because-
especially
because-
when you're not just spending all the time being nostalgic. Like, we don't talk about the past. Like, we talk about it with you, right? We're talking about it, but we don't talk about it. We
We'll
don't
tell
hang around and
dumb
go, "Hey,
stories and
remember when
stuff,
you
but-
scored 20 points at the Marshall game?
Right.
That was amazing." You know, same stories over and over again. You just get, we don't talk about those things. We don't think about the past.
You're where you are, and are you thinking about the future and talking about the future?
I think, honestly, we just like want to write. We just enjoy each other, the way we play together.
Yeah,
You know? Because
yeah.
when you spend that much time, you know, we worked to do the album. You know, the analog days before Pro Tools, you actually had to go all the way through, right? It's at that studio, I think you could have gone down the street and probably paid a good amount and got Pro Tools. But this was 2000.
Right when that was coming out.
And
We
it
didn't
was,
have the money for it at that point.
Yeah, now it's cheaper, right? It's just,
Now, anybody can do it
Yeah.
now. But back then, that was premium, premium
It
service.
is.
but we had to
DAWs
practice.
are very complex now.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
I thought, I'll just get something new. I'll use the Apple Logic, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I gotta go to school to learn this thing. Man.
Yeah. YouTube's the best degree you can get, man.
I agree. So like, I have to just invest the time to.
That's it.
Learn
Sweat
a new
equity.
DAW.
It's tough, though. That's
What are the plugins? What do they cost?
Don't even
Kinda
mess
add it
with
up. I'm
playgrounds.
thinking, oh man, just keep it raw. I think it was what I'm gonna end up doing. Try to just
best
keep
way
it
to do
simple. Kind of like that. There's no editing.
Best way to do it.
yeah. Maybe there will be after me.
I'm just kidding, man.
I don't know.
So you guys are. How often do you get together and do this?
Well, we're all, we're busy doing other things, so it's not like back in the day where you could get together every night. It's like we've all got different projects and very busy. So we try to get together every week. Try to be consistent, but it's tough. This time of year, especially with this holidays, and then this is flu season, so one bandmate gets sick one week, and then the next one. But it's just all those
As you
challenges
can.
everybody
Yeah.
has. In
Schedules.
bands. And
Well, and what I think we do a good job of is we do, like you said, we keep a weekly appointment. It's the same day every week, and so that we know that we schedule our the rest of our lives around that. You know what I mean? It's like that night and time is accounted for, and then if something comes up, it comes up. Like you said, we know we all are busy. We have other things going on and stuff. So if we can't make one week work, that's fine. We'll hit it the next week or whatever. But that way we know there's something on the calendar every week. So, and that's our goal, is to get together. And sometimes we make it 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row. Sometimes, we skip 2 or 3 in a row. So it just depends. Well,
it's
but-
nothing like the old days. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
and you don't get those.
No, it's not, is it?
No, and you
No.
don't have to. You don't have to be, because once you get to that certain point, it is almost detrimental.
Clockwork.
Yeah, it's almost detrimental. Because
You don't want to overproduce, overwork it,
No, because-
analyze it. Just let it let it lie as is, right?
Exactly.
There you go. There you go.
I get it. I get
At
it.
some point, you just got to look at the wall and say, "There's no place else to write on it."
Well, and I think the cool thing with that too is honestly, it's almost a blessing in disguise because we're all creatives, so we're all always thinking. So it's like if 2 or 3 or 4 weeks go by and we haven't got together yet, I guarantee at least one of the 4 of us have thought of 2 or 3 different things that we want to bring to the group. So next time we get together, it's going to be that much more productive, So that does happen a lot.
Yeah, just reload. That's a good point.
Yeah, that does happen a lot. We take that off time to just kind of decompress, come up with ideas, and bring them to the group.
Very creative.
Yeah.
Very creative process.
Yeah. And we all do it. Everybody's got ideas. So, and I love to hear everybody's ideas, and I don't know how much I love to hear mine, but I love to hear theirs, So it's great to bounce all of that off of each other. Yeah, it's really fun.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And thinking about the future, Frank, what do you want to do?
What do you mean, like me personally?
And that does include, this group, right? As is.
No, nothing ever is outside of that. I think it's when you have a collective, it all kind of you join it, cross pollinates, and you just grow it unilaterally.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So you understand what needs a little bit just like having multiple kids, really. You don't want to show love to anything differently. You're all just part of the family, but it's going to divide your attention, and you're going to have to
Prioritize.
be very focused and very deliberate on how you do things to get things done, or you're going to fall behind, and that's not going to be good. And not to be that guy, but realistically, you have to be regimented. And when I look at everything about what we're doing, that's the best thing about music and everything else. If I just allow myself to be disciplined to make sure that I plug in the right processes, I don't have to think about it anymore. So I know I have to do this. No, I have to do that. So I've got a brand. I've got a record label now. I've released, just did a Christmas thing. I'm doing another slew of releases with this place called Alternator Records. I'm out in San Francisco with Michael James. And As Is going to write some stuff. My other band, Blaine Crosby's going to write some stuff. I've got 25 releases scheduled for next year, on Spotify and everything else.
Love it.
Already scheduled. So, I'm running the label. I'm running the social media. I'm running everything. I've got my hands in everything. So I'm just prioritizing certain things. And I know certain things aren't autopilot. Like, we don't need to practice all the time. And Bling doesn't either, and I don't need to practice, my solo stuff. I just improv most of the time anyway. It's the best part, I do a lot of looping. I do a lot of that kind of stuff. So
That's cool.
It's just fun. But yeah, I just think that when you have it all, like realistically, you're that happy, all you need is time. Right? Best line. And it's the truth. It's like
It's the greatest asset.
I just keep doing what I'm doing, I'm fortunate enough to be successful doing certain things, having great revenue streams, and being able to just make sure I get to do what I want to do. So now it's just feed the creative.
Do you find yourself open or focused or somewhere in between, generally speaking?
Open or focused? What do you mean? Like open to suggestions?
Yes. What's your style out there when you're creating? Are you you pushing the envelope?
When it comes to creative process, I think that we're all the same.
It seems to me you're very collaborative. You're gonna listen and you're gonna add value, but you're also looking for others too. And
yeah, I think that's
it's not your way of the highway necessarily.
No,
you
never.
don't strike me that way, Frank, at all.
No, not at all. To a fault, actually. I'll know something is kind of garbage and just be like, okay, let's go with that. Because there are times where you think some way and you're wrong. So that's why you do it. You keep making sure that you're working with people that are going to give you good ideas, and it makes you check yourself and say, okay, I don't know it all.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let's just finish it, go through it, and let the people decide. Let everybody else decide.
I'll chime in on that for sure. As far as he's concerned, that's one of the things I admire a lot about him is in the creative and collaborative processes. He is one of the most diplomatic, and I mean that in the best way possible, people to work with when it comes to someone's idea, his idea, someone else's idea, or whatever. I've never heard him shut someone down, not want to take someone's idea or suggestion, or be afraid to speak up, or not, or criticize one of his own ideas. Like, nah, I don't like mine. I like this one better, or whatever. And I think, and the reason I say that is not only does that make him an awesome person to work with, but it helps the overall creative process, because now, guess what? Nobody's afraid to say anything. Nobody's afraid to bring forth an idea, because he's going to entertain it, good, bad, or indifferent. It might work, it might not. It might be right, it might be wrong. But you don't know unless you try.
Right.
And a lot of musicians in general don't have that, but especially a lot of frontmen don't have that ability. And he's one of the best I've ever worked with that has that ability to just sit back and take other people's ideas and suggestions and say, hey, let's see what we can make with it,
Aww.
So I mean, yeah, I didn't mean to get all mushy there.
You want to make out?
Now, you made a comment earlier, Frank, that he's now going to talk, and we're going to find out why I hate him, but I don't know that came out. I mean, I know you don't hate this gentleman, Scott, but...
Hate him?
No. Frank, I just wanted to say,
No.
that was a brotherly thing, right?
Oh, totally, yeah. Yeah, I don't hate him.
His hatred for me is out of jealousy, but that As Is was my very first band ever.
Yes.
And he's like, how was that your first band? And I had to march through the sludge for years and years and
take time
years.
off, right?
Take
Because
time
he's
off
done.
and then come back to it. And then, it'd take him forever to get to that point. And I'm like, first band ever? Oh, this is easy. Whatever. So that's why he hates, quote unquote, hates me, air quotes.
Well, that...
I think, I don't know, unless there's more, then do tell.
That.
The Ninja Turtle lunchbox.
Oh, come on,
You
man.
come on.
What's the Ninja Turtle?
Nothing.
I don't even know.
Okay, we're not going to say. What I want to know is, do either one of you guys have a good tooth story from the road?
A tooth story?
Yeah.
Tooth?
Like Tooth Fairy story?
Yeah. Not Tooth Fairy, but something about,
Smalls, you want to...
Oh, gosh.
What does that mean? That's an interesting question.
I've
where does
never
that
heard
come
of it.
from?
I've never heard of that reference before.
A tooth story.
It's sort of a Columbus local podcast theme that's kind of organically revealed itself through these episodes.
Really? Well, you're going to have to hit me
There
to that.
there are some tooth topic stories that have cropped up, and there's one vocalist in particular in Columbus local scene that kind of fancies the tooth stories. I'm just curious. I try to sometimes, if you don't have a tooth story, like for example,
Is this some kind of slang that I'm missing?
It's not a slang.
Okay. Well, I'm totally lost.
But has anything happened to you on the road where you think here's my tooth story real quick. So I was at a gig. I was playing lead guitar.
You were slapping the bass? No.
I wasn't slapping the bass. I was playing lead guitar. I was into it, and it was sort of a bluesy groove thing because that was what we were doing. And the stage area was in the same floor as the floor of the bar. It was one of those places, right? And so anyway, this woman came around me. She's got her hands everywhere while I'm still playing. The guys in the band are laughing at me because I got this one. She comes back around. She plants a big giant kiss on me, and then she backed away and she smiled, and all the teeth on the left side of her head were gone.
You did that to her?
Oh my God.
I didn't do that to her. She didn't have teeth on the one. But
Did
the
she
other
have
side
them
of her-
before she kissed you?
Good question.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Cause she came in, it was closed, but then it was the big kiss.
Oh, okay.
And I'm still playing.
So
And then
no,
she
I
backed
don't-
away, and then boom, there's no teeth.
No teeth.
Another guy maybe told a story where they were actively moving around, and wham, the mic hit their tooth, and the tooth went flying, and somebody had their mouth open and the tooth went into their mouth, and like
And
that
it
type of a
fixed
story. But I'm just curious. And if a tooth's not the thing, do you have a road story? Something that you guys?
So
think
that's
is
what I thought you were
happy
getting
as
at, like
shit?
tooth, like something's got teeth, like it's
No.
grabbing on or whatever, like it's a good road story.
But a
That's what I
real
thought it meant,
tooth-
like at a.
tooth themed.
I
Theme.
personally don't have any
that's
physical
okay.
tooth stories. That's interesting to me that people have multiple tooth stories. I've
They
never.
do. They're fun. They're little Easter eggs that you'll find along the way of 100 episodes.
So they're literally
fine.
teeth we're talking about. It's not a
It's a
metaphor.
real tooth. It's a real tooth story.
A real tooth story.
There's a couple of them.
There's space for that.
Yeah, I don't.
Space.
Well,
It doesn't have to be. What do you like? He's not going with the CBGB green room stories, and he's not going to tell us what happened at the Newport green room either. That's fair.
I have one.
I respect privacy.
Actually, now
but
it took me a minute to dig down, but I do have a tooth story.
Oh, you do?
I just thought of one.
Oh, for God's sake! What? Okay.
Scott McCann's tooth story. Here it is.
Now, I'm going to go off path here a little bit. It wasn't in As Is, but it was with a member of As Is,
Oh, no.
Shorty, our bass player. So this was
He's throwing Shorty into the bus.
no, he didn't do it, but he was with me for this story. We were in a different project. We were on the road and we were playing a gig, and there were some, let's call them fans, that showed up to see us play. And we went out clubbing with them the night before. We're in the bar. Radio station takes us out. Blah blah blah. We're having drinks, having a good time. This is the night before the gig. We're like, cool. They show up. We're like, hey, remember this girl, that girl, da da da. She shows up and she gives us one of those, hey guys, how are you? And I'm talking Donkey from Shrek. And we never noticed the night before because you're in the club, it's dark, lights are
Right.
going everywhere, whatever. And a couple hours later, Shorty and I are talking. Yeah, you remember that girl? And he goes, who do you mean, Boxer Rocks? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, her teeth look like she just got done chewing on a Boxer Rock.
What's going on there? That's my point. That's
And
what's
her teeth
happening.
were so bad, we never knew it until like the next day, until we saw her in broad daylight, and we're like, oh, hello. So I guess, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that. I guess I did have a tooth story, and I didn't even know about it.
Sometimes you think back, funny shit happens with people's teeth. It really does.
It's, wow, yeah. Okay.
And especially in music, there's some funny story. That's pretty damn funny. What are you gonna do? Sort of like my big kiss at my gig.
Yeah,
one time. In between wives.
You knock some
In
girl's
between
teeth out.
wives.
In between wives. Yeah, I wouldn't do that if I was married.
No, of course not.
But anyway, I think that you guys are rich in history and rich in creativity. You got a lot going on. It's really sweet, and I'm going to invite the listeners too to check out. There could possibly be some links that these guys want to point you to listen and access what they got going on. Mr. Frank.
I'll let Mr. Media go with that one.
Yeah,
Alright,
like
whatever you choose, and if it's nothing, that's fair too.
No, it's cool.
I'd like for folks to be able to appropriately contact you in the areas that you would welcome that.
Yeah, it's just who is as is across all platforms. So we have whoisasis.com, and then all socials are just handled out at whoisasis. That's it.
Yeah. Instagram is who is as is
On the gram. Yeah, that was a little joke.
That was the other one that's different, but it's still
That's
who is
fun.
as is.
We tried to go as far as we could with the
Yeah.
the handle.
On the gram.
Who
like
is as is on the gram.
On the gram.
We meant that too.
Should have made the Facebook one. Who is as is on the book,
that. On your face.
on the book, on the face, on
Such
the
a-
gram.
Such a silly little space, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, what's your handle? Who is as is
What am
on
I?
the grandma?
What am I, a trucker? Who's your handle?
I don't know.
Breaker.
It's way above my pay grade to understand what
No.
you're talking about there.
Yeah,
It's way
us
below
either.
your pay grade, trust me.
Yeah.
No. All right, guys. Anything you want to leave us with?
This. No.
You good?
We do have a new single out.
Oh, let's talk about it.
It's called "Come Together," and it's on all of those platforms. It's on all the streaming platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Apple.
Original song?
Original song. We wrote.
Yeah, check that out because that's really along the lines of where we are creatively right now. You'll see a night and day difference between because we have our EP on Apple, anywhere you listen to or stream, download, whatever music, any platform, any streaming platform we're on. And then also, if TikTok or any socials, just search and add some music. It's free.
Good deal.
Add some as is music. We've got like 5 songs on there. On any social level, you can add those musics to your posts. So that'd be really cool. But it is whoisasis.com.
Beautiful. All right, guys.
Yeah, what else? That's it. Oh, but really, come together. Serious positive message.
Love it.
Yeah, it's funny because we wrote it like
4 years ago.
Several years ago. And it's more relevant now probably to the times than it was then. Well, it was then too, but even more so now. But it is a positive message. And
It's ironic.
We're
really.
we're really proud of it. It's probably one of, if not the best, original song we've written for a while. We're really proud of it, really happy with it. So please go check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible. We will. Absolutely. All right,
Thank you so
gentlemen.
much. Really appreciate what you do here.
Oh, man.
It's been an absolute blast. We wrote a song earlier today.
We did. So Frank and Scott come here, and we immediately. I'm woodshedding some material on bass, and you picked up with the guitar, and we talked about the guitar, and Frank wrote a tune like he's recording it, and then I'm doing the bass line, which was kind of cool. Man, I appreciated that. That was like right out of the boom. We meet.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just a little disappointed there was
no
not a
drums,
drum
dude.
set here. So
Well, there's some in your car, so
I do have drums in my car. As a matter
there
of
always
fact.
is drums in your car.
I didn't mean for there to be, but they're there.
My life partner and gosh, she's so amazing. Beth of Megabeth is traveling on business this week, but neither one of us are a drummer, so we don't have any percussion. And if we're in a band, we always go to the drummer's house to rehearse.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
we always practice before we go.
There you
do
go.
that, but, if it's a cover stuff.
Because you know what you're doing, you do it the right way. I'm so glad you
Dude.
said that.
No, you wait
Let's
till you
be-
get together and then learn the song.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm
How
so
many
glad
people
you
out there
said that.
love that?
Since this is a Columbus music scene podcast, I'm so glad you pointed that out.
It's like a support
for
group.
the people that don't know that. This is a support group episode or section of the podcast. Practice at home. You don't practice at rehearsal. You practice by yourself, and then you rehearse with the band. Just so you know.
PSA.
It's all good,
PSA.
man. Get it together.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Courtesy of
and come together. It's like,
Come together.
Can't
You
wait to
got
hear
it. Nailed it.
Yeah, it's killer. I love it. I'm a fan of it.
Yep.
Yeah, we had special guest background vocals by Sean Booker on that track.
I love Sean Booker, man. She's
Who? How could you not?
Dude, oh my gosh. We could talk about Sean for days. She's so powerful.
Yeah.
She's not only powerful, she's a blast to hang with.
Yes.
We literally got almost nothing done. She was with us for 3 hours. Her and I sang together for 15 minutes. The rest of the time, we hung out with Joe in the control room.
Yeah.
Huh?
And Sean.
And yeah, who?
Sean.
Sean.
With Joe and Sean in
Sean,
the control room. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Beautiful.
yes. Yeah. And she just talked. And it was hard to sing because my diaphragm was wasted because I was laughing so hard. She's just a good hang.
She was an
good people.
early episode, if you will, because I was thinking Columbus, and I sort of reached out, and Tom House, her manager, and at current state, because that was several years, not too long ago though, right?
No. Yeah. I mean, it was.
With Sean.
No, it wasn't that long. It wasn't like back when we first got started. It was more recent.
Yeah.
Like you said, 4 years maybe.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
like that.
COVID. Yeah. It's weird.
We're past COVID, and we're looking beyond.
Absolutely. It's over. It's okay. Come on out, kids.
Positive message.
Come on out.
As is, and other Frank projects, right?
Yeah, I got a Christmas song, guys. Check it out.
What's
Have
the
yourself
Christmas?
a merry little Christmas. So my mom, she's a Jersey girl, right? So before I lived in Columbus, I grew up basically little kid in the projects in Jersey, and Frank rang through the halls. Frank Sinatra was huge in Jersey for obvious reasons, right? And I heard him sing this song, "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." I'm like, that is it.
Wow.
So I finally got to pay homage and just sang this year. So it's out. Check it out. Anywhere you download music.
Awesome.
And he won't do it, so I will. Aledia.com? Is that
Yeah.
so he's got a solo website too, he has solo releases on. Check those out too. Worth your while.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll put it out there then.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, I did during COVID. I did 366 songs in 366 days. Like what we did early.
Yep.
I did that every day for 360. I was like a leap
And
year.
he did not miss a day.
I didn't miss a day, dude.
I was impressed. I
I didn't know COVID was gonna happen.
No, nobody knew it was.
Yeah,
gonna
and
happen.
then
They
it was
clubbed all of us, man.
they
Everybody
did.
got clubbed by that thing.
But you want to talk about the best time to create music, because
when you're locked in,
you had it was insanity. There was insanity going on out there too. You wanted to be locked in. You didn't want anything that was going on out there. It was a quiet
horrible.
place.
It was horrible. Yeah, no,
It was a quiet place. And, thank God that quietness has been lifted. You know what I mean? But at the time, you really thought this is it. So it was easy to write those 360. People are like, you did it during COVID? I'm like, it was the easiest time to do it. You had so much misery. You know what I mean? So many things going on. You could tap into lyrically. It was like literally writing a song, but having it as your diary. I knew what days were bad and what days were good and what days were where I felt like I got to get out of here. I'm going to lose my mind. But that Christmas song that I released that was the first Christmas I wasn't with my parents on Christmas Day, and that was a tough thing to go through. You know what I mean? So that's why I released it. It was really cool because you never know when you're going to go through that again.
good for you.
Yeah, man.
We love Columbus local-based music, and I think that anytime that you have a magic inspiration like that, you're a good example of just doing it.
Yeah.
That's a good example. You wanted a Christmas song, and there it is.
Lace them up and hit somebody. Stop writing it down. Business models are jokes. You don't need one. You know what I mean? Stop organizing. Just do it.
Think about it. To this day, we're still doing it
Yeah.
as is.
Love it.
What he wants to do solo, like I support him wholly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not jealous of that.
Expand, come back stronger.
Where it
Right?
makes him better as a musician, makes us better as a
Yeah.
band. We do the same thing. We're on different projects. What we started out as day one is we still are today as is. We all do whatever it is that we want to do, and we all support that of each other. And what you see is what you get, and what you're going to get is the best of all of us. You know what I mean?
Love it.
Yeah.
What
it's
a formula. But you're unique because you guys have your unique bond. There's not going to be another band out there like As Is because you are who you are.
It's funny because that's one of the things that we say now about why we're still together today, because it's like we're all still here, which not a lot of people can say anymore. We all still live in the same city. We all still are able and wanting to and willing to and actively playing. And we all still want to do somewhat of the same things. You know what I mean? And it's like, not somewhat. We do want to do the same things, And it's like, why not do it? Why would we be here and not do it? Like, give me a better reason not to do it than to do it is a no-brainer.
Yeah. But a lot of bands don't have that. You know what I mean?
No.
The problem is the way we went out. It destroyed all four of us collectively. We took a hit. It wasn't one band member or anything. It was we took it, all four of us, right on the chin, and that was a tough thing. 9/11 happened. We were signed. We were going. It was done. Everything. We were in Hits magazine. We were buzzing, and then 9/11 hit. That was it. End of everything as we know it, music wise, industry wise.
And what's funny is we all went on, and then so we all tried to pick up the pieces separately and do
Yeah,
our own
and we did.
thing.
Yep.
We all
You
picked
know,
them up
did.
separately. Yeah.
Yeah, we all picked up the pieces separately, and we all did our own thing, and we were, semi-successful.
Yeah, he
at
went
it.
on to like be in a national band. Did Jesse's Girl video with Rick Springfield.
Sweet.
Yeah, with Rick Springfield. And I went on to play with Kenny Brack, the race car driver locally, and played, Indy 500, did the AJ Foyt. Anybody who knows racing and knows AJ Foyt.
So cool.
So we did the tribute song for him and played with Kid Rock and Daughtry. And then Shannon was in 171. They were almost signed. And they were playing with like Saliva and everything. So we were all
Shorty
just
was
crushing.
in-
Shorty was in the band with you.
band with me, so we did that. So, but the reason I brought that up is we all went on to do our separate things, and none of those worked out, and we all found ourselves back together again with each other, like on purpose. It wasn't like, well, I got to work with him again, or whatever. It was just like,
It was just we wanted to.
Yeah, it's like-
the thing is, we all wanted to for 10 years straight.
Yep.
It never happened.
just life, life changes and gets in the way, and ideas change, and things change, and people change, and situations and circumstances change, and everything changes, and everybody does what they have to do. And we're all fine with it. It's like, it's all cool. You know what I mean? It's like, do you? That's why I support his solo career as much as I do our band. It's like a good, if he blows up and we don't, I'll be the first one in line to buy the record, It's just
cool.
how we are with each other.
That's good. That's a
But
good.
we've already proven that.
Yeah.
I was the first in line to buy your album.
Right.
And you were the first in line to buy mine. So it's like we already proved that we've been through that.
Yeah,
We have proof of concept, you know what I mean? But the thing is, what's so great about it is it didn't end up, when we finally did get back together. Most bands, I've been in situations like this where it took you 20 years to get back together. You know what I mean? And 20 minutes to figure out why you broke up in the first place.
There you have it.
So true. So true.
It's good insight, though. You guys are friends, right? You're
Brothers.
You're
We're brothers.
you're like-minded, and you're beyond friendship. Like you are an organism.
Yeah, it's ironic because when we were in Brooklyn, when we were recording this album, Entourage came out, and it was playing in the break room, in the lounge. And I just didn't know what it was. And I just watched it, and I'm like, God, these guys are idiots. These guys are fun. They remind me of something. Like,
Who are they?
it was, dude, I'm telling you,
They're
not.
us.
It's
As
exactly
is.
the same kind of stupid crap that these guys do. I just can't believe I just said crap.
That's all right.
Same kind of stupid
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what they did, it's like, that's what we did. It's just,
It's
not that that's cool or fun or whatever. It's just ironic that something that I loved, and probably the only reason I loved it because it reminded me of us. But, I mean, we played this House of Blues. Was it House of Blues in Chicago?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, too.
They set us up in this embassy suites of like 4 rooms.
Oh, my gosh.
And we all had...
So this is real, time out real quick. So this is what I thought you meant by a tooth story, because this is a great road story.
Okay.
I thought, so here's what, I'll give you my...
That's cool.
I thought when you said tooth, it meant like something that has teeth that grabs you, that's a good old-fashioned road story.
Is this the one that you're talking about?
And the one you're getting ready to tell, I was like, oh my God, that'd be a great one. So it has nothing to do with teeth. Spoiler alert.
That's cool.
But it's a great road story. Okay.
So what is it,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
Frank,
Embassy
are you-
Suites,
okay. So Embassy Suites.
Hard
So
Rock,
what's-
was it Hard Rock or House of Blues?
Hard Rock or House of... I
Whatever.
think Hard Rock.
What city?
Chicago. So we're done. I mean...
It's a big house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so we had to play the Newport the next night. So we are trying to be good boys. And
No, we weren't.
we weren't. And my
gonna
brother
lose
had
an hour
my
coming
brother
back,
got a
too.
picture of us fully clothed. Granted, there were 4 suites we had for 4 band members. We all ended up in, I don't know whose room it was, on the bed with the lights on, us fully clothed, all 4 of us in the same bed spooning, passed out. That's kind of funny, but
Pretty
to
much
hear myself say that,
encapsulates our whole relationship.
God bless all of you. Seriously, that's
Yeah,
an
it was
awesome
crazy.
story.
well, I'd never had that before in any other band. I mean,
spooning in the hotel room.
no,
We all had our own rooms.
Like literally being boyhood friends, like,
Yeah.
like stand by me kind of friends,
Yeah.
but not knowing each other until you're like
Huge.
20s.
Yeah, we all had our own rooms, and we were like, no, we want to stay in the same room together, and that wasn't good enough. Let's get in the same. But now, granted, we never didn't make that decision, consciously. Like, let's all sleep together. We just all
Just
passed
ended
out,
up. You were done.
And
in
yet
the same
another
bed
reason-
together, but for fun, like, just for fun, because we
Yeah.
just love being together
Because
that much. Literally,
that's how we were when we first started from day one. And as it says, since the day he joined the band and started this whole thing, that's how we were. Me, however, in the other bands that I was in, all of us hated each other and were constantly at each other's throats. Another reason I can't stand him.
see how he keeps doing this whole layer thing. How he tries to.
Wow.
I know, right?
See the abuse I have to put up with.
Yeah, he gets.
Len,
He's.
you see that?
Yep.
I mean,
I was alive during the salad days, and you came.
it's out of love. I know. I get it.
Yeah, it's totally out of love.
Nice.
It's not. Yeah, I've got the cooking show voice going on now. Yes. No, seriously, it's just fun. But isn't that crazy? Like, how many things you've gone through, and every musician I know has horror story after horror story after horror story before they get to the point where they're in the current band that they're in and everything's peachy, right?
It's cool, yeah.
He doesn't have that. He was so lucky to not have to.
100% true.
Okay. This was your first band, so what are we talking about?
Well, I started there.
Okay.
But then most people have an up curve, and
Right.
Mine started here, and I had this, and then back up to here.
No, he started off like a princess story, ended up in a Jerry Springer show. And then, but I'm talking about the whole time on the way up.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, he started here.
No,
I
you
started
got
there.
what
We
you-
did this, and then
Ooh,
this,
Then-
and then this,
Yeah.
and then so
future's bright for you guys, though, man.
we hope so.
I can't wait to see it. I mean,
No, it's fun. It's fun. The ride is fun. That's the whole thing. It's a Miley Cyrus song. It's the ride.
The first cover band that I found.
Diane
it wasn't the
Sawyer,
first one.
everyone.
I ran a cover band called The Ride, and our little tagline was, "It's not the destination, it's the ride."
It is, but it's tough to
Correct.
figure that out. While you're doing it. You know what
You're
I mean?
right.
It's really tough, and that's when you get real sad.
Yep.
Because it's along those lines for whatever reason, and probably because I had been through so many terrible things between getting signed and think I was going to be a rock star, right, and that not working out, and then doing this all along, all the steps. You just got to the point where you just get jaded, right? But every once in a while something really cool happens, and then you just rethink everything. You're like, damn, this is what I did it for, and it just quantifies everything, qualifies
The hook
everything.
brings you back.
What's that?
The hook, brings you back.
Brings you back. John
Yeah.
Popper's lyric.
There you go, baby.
Yeah,
He was
I know.
with me. He was
Oh,
with
I'm
me.
right there.
I love John Popper.
The hook brings you back. No, but I mean,
I got a
seriously.
funny John Popper story. I'm not going to tell you right now. Though.
All right. Well,
Just remind me later.
let's wrap, and then let's talk John Popper, and let's listen to some of the stuff we talked about.
Yeah,
It'd be awesome.
absolutely, absolutely.
We're gonna do that.
Episode number 98.
Nice.
Gentlemen, thank you so much.
It's been an
Thank
honor and a pleasure.
you.
Thank you for everything you do, buddy. Really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Keep
I
doing
love
it.
what you guys are doing.
Yeah. All right, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's been an honor. Really. Seriously. Thanks
you.
for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all our people out there in the trenches, all our friends out there in the trenches, keep it up. Let's go. Let's have
Go.
fun together.
Keep rolling. Have fun.
Absolutely.
Support each other.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Love you, baby.
Episode number 98, Columbus Local Podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.